Sri Guru Charitra Chapter 21. When Namadaraka expressed further interest in listening to the stories of Sri Narasimha Saraswati, Siddha continued, there was a disciple of Sri Guru by name Tantuka. He used to attend to his worldly duties for 3/4 of the day and devote only the remaining part of it for the service of the Master. Once all his kinsfolk invited him to join them on a pilgrimage to holy Sri Salem in Andhra Pradesh. Tantuka replied, the mouth of Sri Guru here is as holy to me as Sri Salem, and Sri Guru is my Lord Mallikarjuna. His kinsfolk considered him a fool and went away on their pilgrimage. Some days later came the holy festival of Shivaratri. On seeing him, Sri Guru said, why did you not join your people on their holy trip? Tantuka replied, there is no holier service than the service of thy feet. Not knowing this, these people rush about to places of pilgrimage in delusion. The Lord said, my son, it is not so. Even though the Supreme Lord is all-pervading, His presence can more keenly be realized in the holy places. In those places which were sanctified by the austerities of great saints down the ages, the Lord responds to the devotees' call more readily. Therefore, people can achieve the goal of their devotion much more easily in such places. Having perfected and liberated themselves, the Mahatmas help others to do so by the power of their austerities. Indeed, the great sages and their divine powers were created only for the uplift of all creatures. Even the dust of the places where they move about is made so holy that it can bless people in their spiritual endeavor. That is why people go to such places of pilgrimage. Now I shall show you such holy places. Then Sri Guru made Tantuka wear his own sandals and commanded him to close his eyes and for a while and open them again. The latter found that both of them had reached Sri Salem in a moment through the yogic power of the Master. Then the latter told Tantuka to witness the holy place and duly perform all the rituals of the pilgrimage, like shaving, bathing, taking darshan of Lord Mallikarjuna, the presiding deity of the place. There his kinsfolk met him and said in astonishment, when we invited you, you refused to join us. How then could you be here by the time we reached here? Tantuka told them that it was rendered possible by the grace of Sri Guru, but they could not believe it. When he took darshan of Mallikarjuna in the temple, he saw the form of Sri Guru in the Shivalinga there. After finishing his ritual worship, he returned to his master and said, Sir, even in this holy place, you alone are present. People do not recognize you for what you are, and in their ignorance, search for the Lord here and there. You are indeed all-pervading. Sri Guru replied, Indeed, the self is all-pervading, and yet it manifests itself differently in different places. This holy place is capable of bestowing liberation on the devout. I shall recount a famous anecdote to illustrate the point. In the land of Kiratas, there was a king named Vimarshana. He was kind-hearted and devoted to the gods and pious Brahmins. Even though he earned the merit of worshipping Lord Shiva in his previous birth owing to certain misdeeds of that life, he used to eat and drink all those things which were prohibited by Shastras, and he led a profligate life. Once his wife asked him, Lord, with all your vices, how could you come to have such deep faith in Lord Shiva? The king replied, in one of my previous lives, I was a dog in the city of Pampa. On a holy Shivaratri, I happened to go to the temple of Shiva. The devotees who assembled there beat me severely, and I died there and then and there. By the merit of dying in the presence of Lord Shiva on such a holy day, I am now born in a royal family. All the beastly traits which you see now in me derive from my previous existence as a dog. Those subtle tendencies in me cannot but manifest themselves. Then the queen persuaded him to enlighten her about her own previous life. He said that in that life she was a female pigeon at holy Sri Salem. As a result of your lifelong stay at such a holy place, you have now become my queen. Then she asked him about the future lives of them both. He said, in the next life I shall be born as the prince of the kingdom of Sindhu, and you shall be born in the royal family of the land of Sanjaya, and we shall be united in marriage. The life after that, I shall be the king of Saurashtra, and you, born as the princess of Kalinga, shall be my queen. In the third birth hence, I shall be the king of Gandhara, and you, as the princess of Magadha, will be my queen. In the fourth life, In the fourth birth, I shall be the king of Avanti, and you, as the princess of the Sarna, will be my queen. In the fifth life, I shall be a king named Ananta, and you, as the daughter of King Yayati, will be my wife. In the sixth life, I shall be the very handsome king of Pandya, and you, as the virtuous princess of Vidarbha, will marry me. In that life, we will enjoy kingly pleasures and perform many great religious sacrifices. In the seventh birth, we will attain liberation by the grace of sage Agastya. In this manner, even animals and birds will attain to higher states of existence. Indeed, it is human beings who, through the force of their earlier evil actions, will be born subsequently as various other creatures in nature, but the gods will ever take care that they do not fall away from their heavenly states. Then Sri Guru brought back Tantuka to the Sangama near Gangapur in as mysterious a way and ordered him to retire to his village. A few people of the village had also joined him, and on the way asked him why he got his head shaved. He told them how Sri Guru took him mysteriously to Sri Sailam and how he got his head shaved there as per the custom of the place, and they could not believe his words and said, "Till a few hours ago this man was here. He is weaving fairy tales." At night all of them came to the Sangama, observed fast and kept a vigil till dawn, chanting the name of Lord Shiva. A fortnight later, all the king's folks of Tantuka returned from Srisalem. They wondered when they learned that he was back at Gangapur far ahead of them. They realized that it was all the grace of Sri Guru. The people of Gangapur also confirmed Tantuka's words. Through incessant service of his master, he eventually freed himself from the shackles of his previous karma and attained the highest bliss that transcends the pairs of opposites like joy and sorrow. Who can ever know how many are the souls that were thus liberated through devotion to the Guru? In the same manner, there were two poets who attained liberation by celebrating the divine glory of Sri Narsimha Saraswati in verse. Infinite are the divine acts of the Lord, and no one can ever know them in full. The Vedas themselves have betrayed their inability to comprehend this glory. Namadaraka longed to know the story of the two poets in full, so Siddha gladly resumed his account. A Brahmin by name Nandi Sharma was afflicted by leprosy. In order to free himself of it, he practiced severe austerities at Tuljapur. One day, goddess Bhavani appeared to him in a vision and directed him to worship goddess Chandalishwari. Accordingly, he went there, practiced austerities for 7 long months. One day, the goddess appeared in a vision and directed him to serve the sannyasi at Gangapur to realize his object. The Brahmin was shocked and even lost his patience and remonstrated her. "Are you a goddess not ashamed to tell me to serve a common mortal? What happened to your divine power? If you could not help me yourself, why have you not told me so even earlier and spared me all my long strenuous efforts?" Without a word, the goddess disappeared. The man again pursued his austerities to win her favor, but it was in vain. At last, finding no other way, one day he went to Gangapur to see the sannyasi, as per the directions of the goddess. Strangely enough, in spite of his repeated inquiries, no one at Gangapur directed him to the Lord. At last, an old man told him that the master was due to arrive there for the holy Shivaratri. Meanwhile, some of the local devotees of Sri Guru had conveyed to him the news of the arrival of Nandi Sharma. Immediately, Sri Guru summoned Nandi Sharma and said, "Why have you come here to serve a common mortal, leaving aside the many deities? For no mere mortal can ever free you of your fell disease." Nandi Sharma immediately realized the stuff of which the sannyasi was made, that he was indeed the Supreme Lord himself. He prayed, "Lord, pardon me my error. I am dull of intellect and skeptic and a fallen sinner. You, on the other hand, are the ocean of mercy and filial love for your devotees. I seek your refuge. I have none else to help me. Soon after my marriage, I am afflicted by the foul disease. Even my parents and wife have left me. Even the gods have refused to respond to my prayers. I find it better to end my life than to prolong such a tale of misery. O thou supreme self, if you too look on me with cold eyes, I shall be compelled to take my life. The merciful Lord was moved at his plight and said, Oh, do not fear, my son. This disease is a result of your previous sins, which can be washed off only through patient endurance. Indeed, you have gained this faith in me now only because the result of your evil karmas have worked out. Now you take a deep dip in the holy Sangama. Then the Guru turned to another disciple by name Somanatha and said, Take this Nandi Sarma to the river for a bath. Guide him in worshipping the nearby peepal tree and then bring him back. Accordingly, Nandi Sharma finished the bath and worshipped at the Sangama, returned to the master and prostrated to his feet. The Lord lovingly raised him up and said, My son, Nandi Sharma, stand up and look at your own body. Nandi Sharma was amazed to find that all his body was clear except for a small ugly patch on the leg. He turned to Sri Guru and asked him why the patch was left behind. Sri Guru said, You had a trace of doubt in your heart and hence this patch has remained. Nandi Sharma bowed to him and prayed earnestly, O Supreme Lord, is it possible that a man should drink ambrosia and yet simply because he mistakes it to be water that he could be subject to death? Does the fire cease to burn simply because a man touches it in ignorance? Sri Guru Saraswati, Sri Narasimha Saraswati said, Everything happens according to one's faith. If a man loses his sight through his own fault, can he see the sun? At first you had the doubt that nothing can be gained through the service of a guru. This patch is consequence of it. Still there is a means of getting rid of it. You sing a hymn of praise which on the basis of the teachings of the Vedas expresses your realization that I am not a mere mortal. Thereby you shall realize your object. The Brahmin felt helpless and trembled with apprehension and said, O Lord Supreme, you are the indweller of the hearts of all creatures. What need I tell you? How can I compose a hymn when I am totally illiterate? Tell me something else which is in my power to do. Sri Guru said, My son, just as the tusk which has grown out of an elephant's mouth cannot be withdrawn to its root, the words I have uttered cannot be taken back. You must do as you are told. At once, great learning and poetic ability welled up in Nandi Sharma's heart. Love and reverence for the Guru had cloyed his heart, and he commenced singing his hymn in the trembling voice. O Supreme Lord, Thou art that reality. You are the doer, sustainer, eternal witness, and the true self of all. You have projected all creatures from the three modes of Prakriti and thereby projected the whole universe of things, both the moving and the unmoving. Among all the sentient creatures, a human being is fit for enlightenment. Even he is deluded by the power of Maya. He is enmeshed in the web of motives and in consequence of his sins wanders about amidst the horror of hell, and he cannot free himself even in the course of the vast cosmic epoch. Even if his soul passes to higher realms of existence by the force of his virtuous deeds, as soon as their effects are worked out, he falls back to the realm of the moon. There he feeds himself of food and takes the form of sperm. At the time of conjugal union of the prospective parents, he merges with the oval creation of the mother-to-be and settles down in her home. There he stays for a day in the form of a thick fluid, and for the next 5 days he assumes the form of a bubble. After 18 more days, he assumes a more solid form. In the month's time, he grows more solid. In the course of months, he develops the various parts of the physical body, such as the head is in the first month, neck in the third, and skin, nails, and hair in the fourth. From the fifth month onwards, the orifice like nostrils, ears, and mouth appear. Movements start in the seventh. In the eighth month, intellect starts manifesting itself. Thus, by the ninth month, his body is fully formed and he takes birth. Then he grows and dies and thus passes on from womb to womb endlessly. I have passed through all this gamut of experience. In this life, I am illiterate, old, diseased, and was in despair. O Lord, may you uplift me. I shall ever worship you henceforth. O Lord, owing to the pulsation of the womb, the human being emanates from it and at once loses his understanding and is deluded. During his infancy, he has no freedom, nor can he communicate his agony to others. He loses sight of the very idea of winning his way to higher states of spiritual existence. During his boyhood, he forgets himself in play, and in youth, he is totally preoccupied with sexual drives. blind to all good and bad, is engulfed in the hectic pursuit of sensual pleasures like a beast. In old age, he will be obsessed with the fear of approaching death. He is overtaken by illness like cough and breathing troubles. Finally, he dies without gaining any mastery over his senses. In this way, clear half of the whole span of man's life is spent away idly in night and sleep. Major portion of what is left was wasted in playing during boyhood, worldly occupation in middle age. In old age, he is not free but is dependent on others. Thus, the precious human life is wasted away. Human life proves worthwhile only through devotion to you and through association with the wise and the devout. Therefore, may you bless me with faith in you and worthy association of all my life. Then Nandi Sharma turned to the people who gathered there and said, "Oh, my brothers and sisters, Sri Guru, who is right in front of us, is the Supreme Lord himself and not a common mortal as he looks. Those of you who wish to gain your welfare would do well to take refuge in him, either through the practice of yoga or through listening to and meditating on his teachings. The Lord ever abides by those who are thus devoted to him, for he can be won over only through faith." The Brahmin again turned to the Guru, exclaiming, "O thou Supreme Lord, even the Vedas have failed to describe thy glory. Indeed, no one can enumerate thy glories, which are infinite and are above the power of speech and mind to comprehend." When he finally bowed down in reverence, he found that even the little patch of dirty skin on his body had been cleared. Then, at the instruction of the Guru, he came away to Gangapur along with his wife, lived there for long, and recorded the divine acts of Sri Guru. One day, Nandi Sharma read out his verses to another poet named Narakesari, living in a nearby village. The latter was an ardent devotee of Lord Shiva, and he believed that the gods alone are worthy of adoration and worship. It was his vow to compose a verse in praise of Lord Kaleshwara, as the Lord Shiva was called in the local temple every day. So he appreciated the poetry of Nandi Sharma's verses but objected to the glorification of a common mortal like Sri Narasimha Saraswati. Later on the day, during his daily worship of Lord Kaleshwar, when he was meditating on the linga, Sri Guru appeared in that form, laughed and taunted him, saying, "Where is your Lord Kaleshwara?" So he quickly concluded his meditation, rushed for the darshan of the Lord at Gangapur. There, as he began to sing the 5 verses he had composed to praise Sri Guru, said to him, Composed in his praise, Sri Guru said to him, "Why do you set aside the Supreme Lord and glorify a common mortal?" Amazed, Narakeshari replied, "Lord, I have indeed mistaken you for a common mortal. May you shower your mercy on me, dispel my ignorance, and grant me true wisdom. My delusion is now dispelled, and the merit of all my previous acts of austerities has borne fruit in the movement. May you accept me as your disciple and bless me." Sri Guru was pleased with the devotion of the visitor, gave him a comment, and said, "You continue to worship Lord Kaleshwara at your place, for I myself am there in that form." Narakesari submitted, "My Lord, I am not to forego your immediate presence. Bless me with the good fortune of serving you. Without much difficulty I have gained you, who are the divine wish-fulfilling cow Kamadhenu. I am the humblest of your disciples. May you not be indifferent to my plea." The merciful Lord then accepted him as a disciple and bestowed on him the bliss of self-realization. Thus, Narakesari also served the master for long by singing his glory in his poems. Digambara, Digambara, Sripada Vallabha Digambara, 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 Avadhuta Chintana Digambara. Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwara, Guru Sachat Parabrahma, Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha.